Record to the cloud. Okay, well, here it is, the last Friday of the month again, and we're about to start our Planetarians Web Seminar for the month of February. And this time we have as a guest speaker Rosalía Lugo from the Adler Planetarium. And I just should mention a couple of things. We are recording this. There'll be two recordings. So when Rosalia is finished with her talk, I'll end that recording and start a question and answer period. I will remind everybody to try to stay muted unless you want to say something. And Rosalia has said that it's okay to interrupt her with questions during her presentation as well. So with that, I believe I'll turn it over to Rosalia.
Cool, thank you. Let me put the share so you can see my. You're able to see this?
We see your PowerPoint, yes.
Awesome. So thank you for allowing me to speak. So I'm going to be talking about bridging citizen science and working class neighborhoods, specifically a program that I work in at the planetarium, and then talk a little bit about Zooniverse, which is also citizen science. It's two different departments that are under the citizen science department at the planetarium. But yes, to introduce myself again, I'm Rosalía Lugo. I am one of the team program managers in the team programs at the Adler Planetarium. Just do a little overview. I saw that we were from all over, so I just wanted to point out where the Adler Planetarium is at. In case you need a reminder, it is in the museum campus in Chicago, closest to the Lake Michigan. We opened on May 12th in 1930, and we are the first planetarium in the Western Hemisphere. This map is actually a map that I show to the students when we go out into the community so that they know more or less where we're at as well. Just some fun pictures about citizen science department. So we have our Zooniverse and some team program members. There's a total of 15 of us on the team. Yes. So to talk a little bit about the work that I do, it is about Youth Organization for Lights Out. So it is a light pollution awareness program that is hosted out in the community in Little Village, which is predominantly a Mexican-American neighborhood in Chicago on the southwest side. The high school is called Little Village Landau High School. This is a picture of the first group of students that helped make this into an after-school program. This is the school. So it is four schools in one campus. There were 17 community members that went on a hunger strike to create more schools in the neighborhood. They only had one public school there, and so this was created to have more options for the neighborhood schools in Little Village. So I like to give that history so that people know the history of where the students that we work with are coming from in the neighborhood. So we are part of the World Language High School in this campus. So this program started off in the classroom, and actually on Monday I'll be going back into the classroom to create this light pollution awareness in Little Village again. It is a 7-week program where students learn what the basics of what light pollution is. We have an Indiana Dunes trip. So they get to go outside of the city. They learn about the side effects of light pollution, how light pollution affects Chicago, what are ways to prevent light pollution just at home. And then at the end, they actually spend some time showcasing what they learn to their friends and their family in the neighborhood school. And this is also part of the Chicago Public School service learning requirements, so they're able to fulfill 20 hours worth, and for graduation they get 40 towards graduation. So part of the way we teach our students to start thinking about the night sky is for them to, one, think about their own backyard. So these are some drawings that the students have done when I ask them, what does your backyard look like when you look up? A lot of it is just dark, or they do see stars, so they say, but it's really just start connecting again with their night sky. And then we talk individually about, what did you draw? Why did you draw so many stars? Do you really see that many stars on your night sky? Because in reality here in Chicago, we don't see that much. And then I just relate that we have been looking up and using our night sky in various ways, and Van Gogh is one of them when he drew Starry Night. So trying to relate some art into this as well, just to get them again to start thinking about their night sky. And just like I mentioned, the Indiana Jones trip becomes a very special moment for a lot of students. A lot of them don't leave their neighborhood or their city, so the fact that they get to go to another state an hour away in a dark space becomes very eye-opening, and a lot of students sometimes are afraid of the dark, right? So you associate darkness with being scary, when this is an opportunity to show that darkness is actually very beautiful. And so they learn the basics of using red flashlights, which is why you see these pictures. And the students on my right side, those are summer interns that we had, and they had a blast. And so one of the activities that we have the students do is go towards the lake and look to their left. To the left, this is what they see. In the classroom, this is also part of the beginning process. Like, what do you think this is? What does this look like? A lot of them say, that's the sunset, that's the sunrise. I'm like, no, that's actually our city when light pollution is coming out of Chicago. So once they're there, it's that moment of like, oh man, like that's light pollution, that's not good. And then we also have them look to their right, which this is Michigan City. And so they get to now see the comparison of the astronomical ways of how our night sky is impacted by artificial lighting. And then we talk about, like, this is one day that we hope that Chicago would maybe look like. Yeah, so then we also talk about, what is around our streetlights, talk about the surroundings, again, to get them just to start noticing what is happening in their neighborhoods, or even just downtown. So part of a project that Chicago has been working on is the Chicago Smart Lighting Program, where they are changing a lot of the street lights that haven't been changed since the 1970s. And so we talk about a lot of the lights, and they notice that some of their own lights have changed from high pressure sodium to LED. And so if you look at the map, the blue are the street lights that the city has already completed, and they change these like fixtures. And what's in orange, it has would be up and coming, that they would be changing them. So a lot of the changes have been made in the south and west side of Chicago, which is typically where more crime is happening. And so in having the students, again, relate to this project, we have them put in their school address or their home address to see if any of these changes have been made. So what you see right now is where World Language High School is at, and the streetlights have not changed in their own street area. Some students have noticed that they live on the south end of where the changes have been made. They're like, well, light changes haven't been made at my house. Or like, oh, but they have in mine. And so it's a nice little battle conversation that the students have. And again, it's just getting them to think about the environmental work that is being done in their own neighborhood. In addition to just realizing the little things outside, we have them do some data collecting. And this is something that we're working with 2 other team program departments, programs with Straternauts and Far Horizons. So essentially in the classroom portion, they have to take at least 5 sky quality meter collections at night. So their assignment is taking 5 readings, at least an hour after dark in the same spot. So they have this device for 5 days, and then there's a rotation within the classroom. And again, this is also emphasizing to them that this is actual data that the planetarium is needing. So as citizen scientists, you're not just doing this because I'm in your classroom, you're getting service learning. This is work, real science that you're helping impact with improving and showing our city that why we need to make some changes in Chicago. And then we have Loss of the Night, which is also an app that we recommend the students to download, but we also understand that not everybody is able to download an app for whatever reason. Either they don't have a phone or they don't have enough data for whatever case. But the Sky Quality Meter, the device that you see here on the right side, is a definite assignment that the students have. So the data that they have to collect is the date and time where they do this, their exact location. So in the classroom, we practice how descriptive they actually need to be, where it's not just in the corner of Ohio and Grand, but it's on the southwest corner of Ohio and Grand. Also knowing who did it so they get the credit, their meter, and then understanding the weather impact. If it's a clear night, if it's cloudy, that also impacts the night light pollution, or the light pollution vision. And this is a picture of the first students that did their showcase. So there's 2 students, a student holding the banner and then a second to left student. They both were interested in doing more than just being in the classroom. So this is when it became an after-school program. And currently we have about 13 students that have been very active in the last 2.5 years. So they were freshmen and now they're juniors in high school. So this role that these students have done, they have done their research, have been very impacted on how birds are impacted by light pollution, the light fixtures that are being done in their neighborhood. They've also learned how to use telescopes. So in doing all of this knowledge, they've now present at the planetarium's Earth Fest. So this is going to be the 3rd year that they present to the community and the visitors that come to the planetarium about light pollution. And because of the community that they work in and the visitors that sometimes come in, we've learned to also do this in Spanish, because we also have a high population of Spanish speakers. So this is the current group that we have. And then this is them learning, taking a telescope apart and then putting a telescope together and then doing some solar viewing. These are some clips, and I'll show you just how they interact with one another. The one in the middle is actually, here, I'll just play it and then. Does it fit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A ver, el problema va a ser que...
Yeah?
Te miro. No más miro. No. Es que ya le está tocando la esa.
Yeah, it's not on, but good try. So what happened here is she's looking through the eyepiece or the whole section, and she says, all I see is my eye. And then the other student said, yeah, because you're missing the eyepiece. So then that's when we start giggling. So it's a nice learning process. And as you can see, it's in English and Spanish. It's just the nature of the students and how they converse. And so I want to keep that so they feel very welcomed. And so every time we come to the planetarium, they're like, oh, this is great. This is science. This is something different that I don't get to do in the school. And I can do this out here. So again, back to the other programs that we do, working with Far Horizons and Straternauts. YOLO, the Youth Organization for Lights Out, does more of the environmental awareness portion, where Far Horizons and Straternauts, they do more of the data collecting and analyzing. So it's kind of co-collaborative, where they do that portion, and then we teach them about like the birds and the impact and the light and the street lights that are being done in our city. So So that's the team program section. And then this year, like I said, I'll be going back into the classroom. These students that you have seen in the after school portion will be now teaching the freshmen in the Indiana Dunes portion of the classroom. So now it's a teens teaching other teens about science, which is an awesome event and very empowering for the students. And then they're also planning a night event in their neighborhood school, also bringing awareness about light pollution, but also working with the Park District here in Chicago to turn off the lights, to be able to do one data collection, but also check out the bird migration, because that would be around the time that birds are now starting to migrate. Because also light pollution impacts how birds migrate with the lights and being distracted. And that is, again, an interest of the students wanting to do more informative awareness of. Any questions so far? No? Okay.
I have one. How many students have you had go through this program so far?
So far, a total would be about 22. The first 2 years there have been students that come and go, but there's been a core 6 students that have been recruiting here and there, and as of so in the fall to now, it's been those core 13. So also they will be a part of our permanent night sky exhibit that we are currently working on at the planetarium that will be coming out in the fall. So it's pretty exciting. And so all 22 lists of these students have been an amazing product into what has now become an awareness citizen science project for the 2 communities, the Adler Planetarium and their neighborhood in the Little Village.
That's related to a question I had, was how do you go about recruiting people to participate in this?
So far it was me going into the classroom, and it was just a kind of a mandatory, right, situation. I brought up to the classroom once the session was done that, hey, if you wanna learn more, let's make this into an after school program. So that's where 2 students, actually there was 4 students that said they were interested. So we met up, but then only 2 of them were consistent and did more recruiting. Those 2 students recruited a total of 7 students. And so that's where it became like a core of 7, 8, 9, so 8 students, so core 10. And then this past year, they themselves, the ones that they recruited, have recruited 3 more students.
So it's word of mouth, and it's in this particular school.
Yes, as of right now. But because they're juniors, interests and responsibilities are changing, right? As they get ready for college or post-secondary journeys, that this upcoming fall, it will be a workshop series, still after school, but there will be an application process, and it will be open to students in schools in the southwest side of Chicago, but located still at that high school. And so the main students would be there.
Yeah, thanks.
Sure.
I've got a question here.
Sure. Uh-huh.
I was wondering if Audrey Fisher, who's very active in the IDA, has been involved in this program.
So actually, we've been in communication to having her maybe come and speak to the students if it doesn't work with the school portion, the classroom portion, to come into the after school. So we're talking to see when our schedules fit. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I'm a member of IDA and I'm active in our local chapter, and I just want to make sure you know they have a lot of brochures and materials available. So hopefully you can make use of that too.
Yes, so I've been in contact. I went to the IDA meeting in November. That was my first meeting.
Oh,
and,
okay. I was there too.
Oh, okay. So I had a presentation similar to this. And I met Betty Maya. And so Betty Maya also told me about the packets and resources. And so I actually just ordered some for an event that I'm doing with the Blue Island Public Library, a suburb on the southwest side. And so an order just came in. So we're excited to use more of that for our future events. So,
great.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. So moving forward, I want to show Zooniverse, the other part of citizen science in our department and at the planetarium. So we have a video that I want to show you. This video is shown at all of our shows at the planetarium before the shows actually start. So here you go.
Zooniverse is the largest platform for online citizen science in the world. Zooniverse is a platform for people-powered research, and more importantly,
Rosalia, we don't see a video, or I don't see a video.
Okay.
Yeah. We see a slide that says, well, anyone can be a citizen scientist in the Zooniverse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see. Does this
could
work?
be that you, yeah, I'm not sure.
No.
If you have to, you can go out and unshare and then share your desktop rather than just the, I don't know if you shared, did you share the
I think I just shared the
PowerPoint?
yeah.
Share your desktop and then we can see whatever is on your desktop, I think.
Okay. Can you see something?
Well, we see the Zooniverse slide. Oh, here we go.
What about now? Okay, cool.
There it is.
Perfect. All right.
Thank you.
No, thanks for letting me know.
Zooniverse is the largest platform for online citizen science in the world. Zooniverse is a platform for people-powered research, and more importantly, I think it's an opportunity to be part of something bigger.
It's a program that allows researchers from all over the world to put their project up on the internet and let anyone from all around the world analyze the data.
Today, researchers are sitting on huge data sets, and they really need the public's help in processing that data, unlocking that data so that we can pursue the research questions of interest. A core piece of Adler's mission is finding ways to engage the public in science in real and meaningful ways. And so it's hearing about the discoveries, but then being able to go to zooniverse.org and participate in the projects and help those researchers unlock their data and discover exotic, strange, and fun new things.
Yeah, so this is Zooniverse. They have about over 120 projects across different areas from astronomy, ecology, biomedical, and humanities. And so there's different projects that people can work on virtually with Zooniverse. And this is something that I haven't worked directly too much with this department, even though we're in the same umbrella. But one project that we did work together was last year with our summer interns. So during the summer, we have 20 students that come and work at the planetarium under team programs in different departments, from marketing to working with one of our astronomers, Far Horizons. And this last year, we were able to have 2 interns with Zooniverse, which was pretty awesome because they were actually able to help with this project called You Scientists. And the students helped the developers with research and testing and mapping and prototyping different ways of how they wanted this tablet, this big table tablet that's going to be going onto the museum under the planetarium floor. So here you see pictures of the students kind of procreating and working with what they're coming up with and seeing what actually works and does not work, where in the end, this is their final product. So they're able to have different people do this data, as you can see, at one time. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people working and informing Zooniverse about a certain project, if they can see in this example, a galaxy. Well, what type of galaxy is this? So this is something that Zooniverse and Team Programs were able to collaborate together as of last summer. And yeah, so now we look forward to seeing like when this comes up onto the floor. I don't know when it will be live. That would be a question for Zooniverse, but I thought relating some of their work and how Team Programs have been able to do some real science, citizen science work together, that this would be a cool thing to show you guys. And that's actually it. So open to some more questions.
Okay, I'm going to start up a new recording. Let me just